What's popping, ladies and gentlemen? We do have another video on your hands. It is a tactics video now. It is a top 5 best tactics right now, especially post-patch. There's kind of like a small shift in like the meta, I feel like, even without them announcing like a, update or anything, because I feel like now everyone has insane cards, so the level of gameplay, like, pace, you could say, and responsiveness is much quicker now, I feel like. Okay, not responsiveness, because we all know this game, bro. But I do mean in terms of like aspect of how quick the game is, because of everyone having increased like statted cards, etc. So there is actually some insane formations that is really meta right now, so let's get into it. I know you're thinking to yourself, how can I improve my FC25 experience? Look no further. MONOEXP has the best, cheapest coins on the website, best price, best guarantee. Use the code META for 8% off, bro. You can get literally any card. Go check them out right now. I'm going to break down the top 5. It's some very nice formations that can play, to each specific area. So choose the one that seems the best. In my opinion, I'll obviously tell you which one is the best to use, which one, like, that's more counter-attacking, etc, etc. Hit that like, by the way, subscribe, boys. Let's get to 45k. Appreciate everyone. Yeah. Team management. The very first one's going to be my 4-3-3-4 that I've actually... it did kind of well. A lot of people were loving it as well. Some people, there's always going to be one or two guys that hate it, but the 4-3, you can't obviously please everyone, but 4-3-3 attack, very attacking formation. What I'm noticing as well is no one's using that much CDM formations, because I feel like everyone has insane stats that they can actually press, they can defend if they need to. Even the fullbacks, cave in as well. Even your wingers can defend. Your cam can come back, you can press. So I feel like CDM formations can kind of not really need, you don't really need it, if that makes sense. So yeah, build-up style is always going to be short passing. There's a couple of ones that I chose, I think 1 or 2 that doesn't have this build-up style, but for the most part, bro, short passing, in my opinion, with the amount of like insane cards, doing the 1-2s, they all have insane stats, 5-star weak foot, amazing passing stats. Some even have max. So the short passing, bro, triggers those runs, and it just makes the cards, kind of act much more lively, if that makes sense. Defensive approach is going to be 70. Now, I know this formation is very attacking, but the thing is, it's so attacking, right? Alongside the 70 line height, it makes it a beautiful, like, press, and you don't have too much plays out of a gap. Why I say this is because the fullbacks is on fullback defend. I feel like if I were to make them, the fullbacks specifically, make them unbalanced focus, that is, bro, GG's. Let's just say, yeah, you're gonna have no one intact. You're gonna concede a lot of goals. But I would say this formation's for those guys that like to play very counter-attacking, kind of score more goals than your opponent. Cheers, Jeff. I mean, like, in the sense of use your best form of defensive attack kind of vibes, if that makes sense. So overall, though, we do have a goalkeeper on defend. I bring the keeper out myself, completely your own preference. By the way, the pinned comments will have the all of the codes. Don't just copy and paste. Yeah, what I have to say. 2 center backs is going to be on defend. Everyone has that. And then obviously, as I said, very attacking formation. So you want your fullbacks on fullback defend, and it is better if they have the plus. Majority of players now all have the plus. Except for my cam Ribery. I just feel like he's actually a little bit outdated, low key. I must actually remove him. But the plus obviously helps in terms of like offensive, and also just the AI movement patterns. We have the 2 CMs now. It's always nice to have a good balance, but I feel like everyone right now is just insane, so it doesn't really matter that much. I'd say the best preferenced CMs is probably Ruud Gullit, any version of him, alongside someone like a Guiaro, bro. Someone like a Puteas. I'm trying to find more players. Maybe even that new Petit is nice. Very insane card as well. Everyone that can, do anything, like even that 98 Bellingham in season pass is beautiful. So there's a couple of cards. We do have, I'd say, your more defensive CM, the taller guy, so like a Ruud Gullit. He's going to be at the holding defend, and then your CM Cafu right there, which is mine, the box-to-box. Perfect box-to-box. Someone like I'm trying to think of other cards. Even a Vitinha. Vitinha is literally perfect here. And then we obviously have the cam man like Ribery. If you have the plus, it's better. Shadow Striker, though, because essentially you have the 2 CMs that do the work. You want your cam intact. You don't want 3 players doing the work defensively, offensively. You just want 2 players there, and then you have your cam to distribute it. You need that guy that distributes, because this formation is more of a how can I say, like, one way of attack. So the cam is actually the main guy, to obviously chance great. And then obviously the wingers are mainly, you could say, low-key your strikers as well, if you have them on inside forward like Rafinha, for instance. And then balanced. Yeah, I just like to have the balanced, you know. Sometimes I like to play the interplay with the 1-2s alongside like a Fu and stuff, so I want him a little bit back, not all the time. That's why the balance is perfect. And then we have Owen. Now, why I have him on winger plus plus is because if you want to bang out the Trivelas, you can. So having someone also to alleviate the press, you know, that's all the way situated on the width of the field, all the way at the left. Like for instance, Owen is nice when you're getting pressed, and then obviously striker Ronaldo. Yeah, we're not gonna jump into games with these teams because there is 5, so we're not gonna. This video will be long, bro. Let's jump over to the next one. It's gonna be the 4-2-3-1 transform, I call it, because essentially this formation changes, bro. Like it's the 4-2-3-1 wide. It's not the 4-2-3-1 narrow, because that one I feel like is good, don't get me wrong. I just feel like having the wingers is better to alleviate press and also to kind of have a little bit of width, you know. So this formation might actually be one of the best right now. I cannot lie to you. We have it on 4-2-3-1 wide, short passing, and then high. I just always have the build-up style and defensive approach the same. You know, if you felt like you don't really do 1-2s that much, you take your time, you know, possessive play, then you can go balanced. If you feel like you just want to absolutely pounce, go to obviously counter. So yeah, short passing for me, I feel like is a beautiful interplay, tiki-taka, you know. Sometimes could even be a little bit of a balanced build-up style of balanced and counter, you know. Because essentially if you passing, you know, that's 1-2s, you can quick counter attack, and then on the other end, you can even like take your time, you know, quick 1-2s, let the guy come to you, if that makes sense. So let's jump over to the actual tactics. We've obviously got fullbacks on defend. This is what makes it so OP. You have 2 CDMs, right? And then still fullbacks on defend. Yeah, that formation is very ratty, but it works, man. We got obviously goalkeeper defend, and then fullbacks defend. Now, what I've noticed is sometimes it can be a little bit too, what's the word, stagnant, because you have so much players behind the ball or behind in your own half. You can have one unbalanced, you know, maybe have him kind of come up a little bit. You can play around with it, but yeah, I feel like for now, just knowing who you're going to attack with is always the best play. Like for instance, you have 2 CDMs, right? But one doesn't really play that much of a CDM aspect, because it's kind of like the 4-3-3. It's just now you have more of a defensive minded structured players. So Gakpo, right, he's going to be your guy that defends. He might have 1 or 2 chance creation passes, but he will be your guy that gets the ball. We've got Cafu as well, which is kind of like, how can I explain, a free-flowing CDM that does defend, right? But then he also comes up and goes basically wherever the ball is, because he's roaming, you know. And then we got obviously Cam, shadow striker, attack. You want him up there. He kind of acts as a false 9, and I like it because I don't want to clash with my 2 CDMs. I like to have just Ribery chilling up there. When he gets the ball, he distributes it either to Ronaldo or just scores himself. We obviously have the 2 wingers on inside forward. I feel like everyone runs inside forward on the wingers with balanced. Unless you want to alleviate press, you can have one at winger. So we do have the striker Ronaldo, the main man. It's always going to be advanced forward attack. Everybody does this. Why be at a disadvantage and actually go different, you know, be a different guy? You're not going to score goals, my friend. Jump over to the next formation. That's 2. We're going to go with probably the most boring formation right now, but it works because, as I said, we have insane statted cards to the point where your players do the work now, bro. You don't need formations to cook for you. And this is a good example of it, because let's say, for instance, right, you have insane players like a 10 million coin team. The 4-4-2 is going to cook, bro. You have the 2 CMs that's box to box, that's balanced. They're so good to the point where they can do everything. Defend, attack. They can even score goals for you. If you need a Trivela here and there, they can be that guy. So yeah, defensive approach always going to be high, 70. I always have that. And then build up style unbalanced. As I said, your players can do the work for you. If you a guy that essentially has a decent, very decent team, then you can run this formation. It's going to work in harmony, and you won't really feel too out of position for your players. If you do feel like that, then go 50 Lionite. And if you feel like you have a little bit of stagnancy, you can even up it to 90. It's a little bit crazy, but maybe if you up it to 90, go to the 4-4-2/2. You know, it's pretty much the same thing, just with 2 CDMs. Goalkeeper defend, fullbacks unbalanced. It's a very nice interplay because you can have your fullbacks actually come up a little bit, you know, if it's too stagnant. And it's a very nice player on formation. I've seen a couple of pros actually use this formation. As for all the others, yeah, even the 4-3-3-4. Yep, we do have the two CMs on box to box balance. Now, why I don't have anyone on what is it, on defending or like holding, due to the fact that everyone has insane stats, and as I said, the stamina, bro, the stamina aspect for the CMs is everybody's insane when it comes to stamina. So why have them at box? Why have them at sorry, holding, as opposed to box, man? I feel like it's just much better. You just feel more lively. The cards basically do everything, so it's better to have, how can I say, don't have all your eggs in one basket type vibes. So yeah, that took a little bit long to say. So winger balanced on the wingers. You can go inside forward. I just feel like it's going to clash because you already have two strikers, so you might as well have the width. You know, that's why the 4-4-2 is here, and advance forward for both strikers attack. You can low-key go advance forward for one, and then maybe, just maybe, for your other striker, you could have him come back a little bit. So you could have him as a false 9. I just feel like, man, I never really liked the false 9. I don't know what it is, man. I just always like the advance forward because they get into the attacks and that positions every time. Let's go 2. So we've done 4-3-3. We've done the 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2. We have 2 more left right there. I'll jump over to the 4-2-1-3, the boring one. We had to include it, bro. Everybody rocks this formation that, you know, either wants to just get wins straight up, because the thing is, essentially, you have 6 players behind the ball, right? If you go fullback defend, you're a rat, bro. But fair enough, though. So let's say you could up the line height and go fullback defend, and it's gonna be nice. It's gonna like, you know, balance. But I feel like the fullback at balance is very nice because they come up, right? They actually interplay with the CDMs, and then you can distribute it to your cam very quickly. So I feel like it works in harmony. It's the 4-2-1-3, boys. Come on, we already know how good this formation is. Yeah, it just works really good because you have the two CDMs that kind of press really well, and then also cut. Take out the cutbacks, and then if you have one on roaming deep lying as well, like the Cafu, he'll act as a box-to-box vibes, and kind of like in a roaming vibe where he's wherever the ball is, but he also has the main, what's the word, idea of actually defending and getting that ball. We have classic 10. Now it's a little bit of an interesting one, I cannot lie. Most people have this on Playmaker. I felt like with a classic 10, I've used the 4-2-1-3 not recently, but felt like with the classic 10 attack, it actually makes it seem like Ribery is only in one spot. So for this specific formation, right, you have the two CMs. Sometimes Cafu comes up. You can actually have Ribery just chill there and distribute it, bro. So you're gonna have to say that Ribery is the main cam. He's the guy that literally links defense with attack. So you have to have a very good player in this role at cam. Let's jump over to the wingers. Similar to the 4-3-3-4, one winger to alleviate the press, and also sometimes, you know, kind of have like a a trump card, you know, someone that can Trivela for you. So yeah, this guy will act as kind of a low-key a striker as well, cutting in. So inside forward roaming is nice. I go with the roaming because I felt like this formation is so drawn back. You know, having that roaming is nice because it also acts as low-key a cam ram vibes. So it's nice to kind of have him cut in, you know, because I feel like so there's too much width for the or isolation, you could say, for the 4-2-1-3. So yeah, let's jump over to the very last one. 4-2-1-3 is very boring, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't really play that formation anymore, but 4-5-1 spread is crazy. Let's jump to this one. This might be also one of the best formations in the game right now because of the relevancy, you know, when it comes to insane stated cards. Having this formation, especially with the short passing, insane 1-2s and getting those counter attacks going, it's very free flowing. It might be the best formation in the game. I'll be honest, hands down, bro. It's between this one or the 4-2-1-3. Sorry, the 4-2-3-1/2 defensive approach. You heard it. 70 line height. We already know. Goalkeeper defend. We have two fullbacks at balanced. I felt like it's nice because you have the interplay with the wingers. So if you felt like there's a little bit of a gap, and you know you're not really seeing a lot of players out of position, then by all means have it on defend fullback. You already know. Inside forward balanced as well, kind of like the 4-4-2 low-key, you could say, because everyone's unbalanced but they're doing their roles. So yeah, overall, man, we have our two CMs now. What makes it so great is obviously By the way, ignore these like lines and stuff and exclamation points because it's obviously 5 formations. I can only choose one. I'm currently playing the 4-3-3-4, but the 4-5-1 flat. If you can have someone like, let's actually go over to, I have to really break this formation down, because if you have someone like a Matuidi, right, for instance, at that playmaker attack role, does Matuidi, can he play CM? You want a defensive player, right, that has the main inclination of defense, but then obviously intercepts as well, that can also like attack. So it's kind of like someone, not a petite, I feel like he's a little bit too attacking. Essentially you could even have 2 offensive CMs, but you need the defense, because if you have like a Vitinha, for instance, he's perfect. He has the anticipate plus, right, which gets the ball, so he can intercept very easily when he presses up top. And then not only that, when he's acting as that playmaker attack, he distributed. Not only that, he also attacks himself. So if you look at the actual graph of a player, I feel like Vitinha is perfect here, bro. He can do everything, jack of all trades. You can see they actually come into the left and then center, also go up a little bit, so they act as cams low-key. If you look at the actual formation, look how this looks. Yeah, it looks like a spider, but it just looks beautiful, you know what I mean? So yeah, we also have 1 CM on holding defend. So you have to have someone like a very tall player as well, by the way, someone like a petite, you know, Vieira, Rutulet, all these cards, because essentially if you don't, then you will get caught on in the middle, especially in the middle going down. So yeah, this formation is very nice, man. I feel like it works in harmony, and it's a very interesting look with the ball attacking. You'll see, man, it's a very nice formation. I'd say it's up there with the best. Very OP. Tell me in the comments, are you guys going to be doing any of these formations? Please let me know what's your favorite right now. Obviously this might be one of the last, I can't lie, videos I'll do for the top 5 tactics. Maybe I'll do one more, but I feel like it's just the same thing, you know. It's for the guys that also just started the game, and there's a couple of guys that just started the game as well, so it's good to just, you know, update them on it. So yeah, overall, man, I'll catch you boys in the next one. Have a sweet week, boys. Peace.